Hi, I'm going to show you how I do my postprandial blood sugar testing. I took an insulin resistance course. Gosh, I can't believe it's probably been about 5 years now, but it helped me understand how my blood sugar was impacting my body and what foods were impacting that so that the choices we make and we can see how those impact our blood sugar. So I really wanted to eat something, so I'm like, I'm going to test my postprandial blood sugar. And what I wanted to eat was this, it's called a Snickers bar. So it has a variety of ingredients. Let me read off what it is. It has almond flour, collagen, peanut butter, chocolate chip, maple syrup, coconut sugar, almond milk, coconut oil, and a dash of sea salt in it. So I'm like, okay, if I'm going to want to eat this, I want to see how is this impacting my blood sugar. So I have, let me rip this, my blood sugar monitor here. I started off, I washed my hands and everything with soap and water and dried those off before I hopped on here. If you don't have that, you can use an alcohol wipe to do that. But I have my rely on blood sugar meter. I got that at Walmart. So you can pick up a blood sugar meter and do that. So you also are going to want a notebook. So I like this little pocket-sized notebook. You can also keep track of it on your phone. I try to do things to avoid me getting on my phone as much. Um, so I have this notebook. I put the date. I'm going to put the time now. Um, what it is. So I want the starting time, and we'll see what my glucose is now before I start eating. And then, so postprandial is we're going to be testing it a variety of times after I eat and see what this does to my blood sugar. So you start off testing it before you even eat anything. Also, if you want to just take a picture of what you ate, that could be helpful. Instead of writing everything down, if you want to track things that way, that's another thing to do. So I got my thing here, my lancet to poke my finger. So that's coming. One thing I know I like with this rely on, it doesn't seem like you need quite as much blood for that reading. So I got that. Oh, wow. It's already a little bit higher than I would like to see. But we'll see how this food then impacts it. So I'm gonna then, so I took my blood sugar, then I'll eat this, and then I'm going to want to test this. If you've never done it before, you're going to want to test it every 15 minutes, at least for the first hour to the hour and a half time frame. What we're trying to catch is when does this make your blood sugar spike, and you want to know, hey, how much is my blood sugar spiking from these foods that I just ate. So that's really what we're trying to check in that part of seeing, hey, when is the spike happening? A lot of people, it happens between 45 minutes, probably to an hour and 15 minutes. But that's why you're just testing it every 15 minutes to start off with, to see where is your peak. And that just gives you an idea. After you've done this a few times, you wouldn't need to test it every 15 minutes. You could test it, before you eat, and then test it around when your blood sugar usually spikes. You might want to test it again 15 minutes after that to see if there's any additional spike in that. And then what you're going to want to do is test it every hour after that until your next meal. Ideally, I try to have 4 hours at least between my meals. It's better for those that have digestive issues to give your body a rest. Also, I don't think our bodies were created to eat frequently. So you should definitely eat more than just what I'm eating now, this little treat. But I wanted to see, how is this specifically impacting my blood sugar? So that's what I'm going to find out from doing this. So I'll be checking it every 15 minutes to start off with, see where my peak is. Why I, recommend doing that. One thing I came across back when I started learning more about this and took that practitioner level course is that, I went in, got my lab work, and my fasting glucose was fine. My A1C was fine. My fasting insulin was a little bit high. So I highly recommend getting your fasting insulin checked. That can change before a lot of other things change. But why that, in my case, was a little bit elevated and the other two numbers were fine was that I was having spikes, but then I was also having dips in my blood sugar where it was going lower. So that was averaging out everything for my A1C, and I was fine with my fasting glucose in the mornings. But that just really, seeing that my fasting insulin number was a little bit elevated gave me the idea of like, okay, there's something else going on here. Let's see what's happening with these foods that I'm eating. Also, there are some foods that, impact your insulin, but not your blood sugar. And that's, harder to find out because we don't necessarily have, an easy way to check your fasting insulin that I'm aware of. You can go into the lab and get it pulled, and then eat something when you know when your spike is, then go see what it is at that time. Dairy products from my practitioner level course is an item that can impact your insulin, but not impact your blood sugar. So that's, some tips to be aware of. But I just encourage everyone get out there, um, see how the things you're doing are impacting your health. Have a blessed day.